is something pretty remarkable.
This is my movie.
These are our stories.
I am Real Works.
Are you recording right now?
It ruined my life because I lost my mother.
We were really at the age where it was going to affect us the most.
Listen to my story.
This is my story.
Get inspired by us teens.
This is where I can tell my story. Where teens from New York are given a voice. This is Real Works.
Welcome to Real Works. I'm Byron. This week at Real Works, we have two stories of loss and renewal. How does one persevere when someone close to them dies? Bernard Smith explores this difficult emotional terrain with his film, Moving Forward.
This is my documentary. I'm 16 years old. Birthday is July 13th, 1991.
You know, Byron was real quiet, kind of shy. But slowly but surely, he was coming up out of his shell. That's my little dude.
He was my baby. I remember everything. I remember him running through the house with a camera, videotaping my house when it wasn't clean. He always was a good child. He always wanted to know everything. He asked a lot of questions.
My mother didn't believe in you should follow somebody else, or you should always make your own path. I used to hang around with the younger crowd because there's so much negative influences out here that they need somebody to look up to, so I was always that person.
My relationship to Bernard, he like my brother, my older brother. We've been cool for a long time.
You know, he babysitting my son, a young man. You know, Byron only 16 years old.
Let me get my little son up in here. Say something. What's your name?
Nazimoto.
Now, how you get it?
I get it how I live.
How you live?
I live how I look.
How you look?
Good.
Yeah, boy. That's how we getting it out here.
I didn't really want to be nobody. I wanted to be myself. I wanted to make my own impact. My uncle, my father, my mother, they always inspired me to get, pushed through or go further or this and that because I'm multi-talented.
Very creative. Music-wise, especially. When I need an idea, I go to Bernard.
Music production, the boy can rhyme, very, very, very good at the scholar. He used to even play sports, but he don't even like to do that. Take up too much of his time.
Start off with the drums, bring the strings in or the bass, bring in some guitars, some synths. Put it all together, I start editing, write my lyrics as if I write in my work.
It's getting tight hard, so brothers need to know. Can you help me out, son? Should I stay or should I go? Cause now people thinking that's what's up, it's just a show. But now it's getting worse, so should I stay or should I go?
Most important to me was my family because without them, I wouldn't be who I am or where I'm at. Because my family is the only people who really kept me pushing at that time.
Mother, uncle, grandmother, grandfather, cousins. Bernard's all about family, nothing but love.
I grew up with my father, but he wasn't around as much as a regular father would be. That's why I had my great uncle to look up to.
To me, I thought he was more than that because he took care of Bernard and everything.
He was like his father. He helped me raise them. He was good to them. When I said no, he said yes. They loved him to death.
My Uncle Steve, he was like the coolest person you'll ever meet. He used to be a basketball player. He moved to Oklahoma to play basketball, so he was playing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he had one of the highest world records. He got put in the Hall of Fame. He played at a professional level. He ain't try to do no show-off stuff like they be doing now. Every Father's Day, I think about him because that's the day that I celebrate with him, other than my father.
Bernard was taking care of him when he couldn't take care of Bernard, because he'd do anything for Bernard. He'd take him out, and now Bernard had to take care of him.
What did Bernard do for him? Everything. Probably kept him alive as long as he did. He stayed with him every day, and when he got sick and wasn't able to do things for himself, Bernard did it. Bernard put his shoes on in the morning, put him in the chair, pushed him out, helped him get in the car. So one day he was coming from work and it looked like his back or something was hurting. So when he got upstairs, I said, what's the matter? He thought he pulled the muscle in his back. But what I think really happened, because when he got admitted in the hospital, they said he had a slight heart attack. But that night, that last night, when he came and I got scared, you know, it's like I had seen this look in his face, and it scared me, so I had Bernard watching him.
The death of him hit me really hard, hit me where it hurts, because it felt like I just lost my father.
When I was young and I used to lie, he made me promise we ain't past not to cry. Now I wish I had more time to say goodbye.
James was an entertainer. He was more like the family smile to me. He kept a positive message, yeah, you gotta do your work and this and that, but he'll talk to me on an adult basis. After my uncle died, he actually came to see me. We was chilling and stuff like that, and after a while, he wound up just staying over at my house.
And you know, it was always a pleasure to have him, and the kids loved him, you know. He'd keep them funny, and you know, right then and there, I was like, wow, look how God sent somebody else in my life.
Like an angel. Like just came through to cheer everything up, so everything in the house won't be so sad.
He lifted their spirit when Steve had just passed. He was diagnosed with cancer like 3 years ago, but I had him healthy. I had him up to like 165 pounds strong.
And up until the time when he went to go take this bone marrow thing, you know, for his disease, and it affected him in a way where his body didn't accept it.
They said they had a match, and so he agreed, you know, without, I mean, the only thing he asked me when he was going to hospital was would I be his health proxy.
Well, that time my son was not a pretty sight.
At that point, he was in type of like a coma for 30 days or something, 60 days.
I saw him in his deathbed doing bad and stuff. I know he knew I was there. He probably couldn't say nothing, he probably couldn't talk, but he knew I was there.
Cable III, that's Bernard's grandfather. To me, that's my father, so that means that he's the greatest man that I ever knew in my life.
He was my father. That was my dad. I call him Dad. He was dead. He was everything.
He was like real cool. Whenever he'd be like, oh, you don't got no money, he'd give me some money too. He like real cool. Like the whole family is cool.
Well, I call him Grandpop. He kept me pushing because he always believed like I was different. I was different from most of the kids out there. He saw something in me that probably looked familiar or looked like a good aura.
They put him in a nursing home. I still don't know why. They found out, first they said it was bronchitis, and he had like emphysema.
But then after a while, they put him in the hospital, and he just got worse and worse.
What did he die of?
He had a heart attack. They started working on him, and cold blue or whatever they were doing, and slammed the door in my face. And I was just standing there, saying, oh my God.
To see your father die, that's something that'll actually tear a person apart. Even though I'm doing this stuff about the 3 deaths and how it's affecting me, it affected her the same way, probably even worse.
But it'd be real selfish of us to want the person to stay here and suffer. You know what I'm saying? And I always taught them, yeah, when it's time to go home, you go home. We have no say in the matter. As much as we might love a person, we can't keep them here forever.
I thought about them in a sad way because I miss them. And I miss being with them. I miss being in the house, New Year's Eve, or the family being there, watching the honeymooners, you know, eating some popcorn, chilling, waiting for the bell to drop, for the bowl to drop, listening for the shots that's probably go on outside, you know, just relaxing, watching some TV, have some good food. Everybody in the house saying, yo, we made it another year. This time I ain't hear nobody. So I had to say it to myself.
Let's go out to everybody lost a friend or a family member. Rest in peace.
Well, I'm gonna end with a blaze of glory that everybody waiting just to hear this story.
What do you do when another brother die? When you know you wanna cry when you look at a dead soldier. Throw your hood in the sky, put the flag to his eyes so you can wipe all the blood off the dead soldiers. What do you do when another brother die? When you know you wanna cry when you look at a dead soldier. Throw your hood in the sky, put the flag to his eyes so you can wipe all the blood off the dead soldiers. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do when you look at a dead soldier? What do you do? What can you do? What do you do when you look at a dead soldier?
It's been 3 years since Bernard made his debut film. We met up with him to see how his life has changed since then. I want to ask you a couple of questions, man. Looking back at the film, how do you feel when you watch it?
Well, I still feel the same way when I first made it. You know, like, it's something that needed to be done. I watched it a few weeks ago, and as I watched it and I watched how I made it through this actual happening, I see that I'm not the only one who was affected by this film, and it shows basically I've came a long way, and so is most of my family.
Now you've had 3 different men leave your life who basically took care of you, right? Mm-hmm. Now you are a father, and you're responsible for the life of a young man.
I feel grateful every time I pick my son up, I kiss him, and I just think like, damn, I was there once, and now I'm doing it myself, even though it's at a younger age, but it doesn't matter because age doesn't really affect the experience. I believe that my uncle, my cousin, and my grandfather has, basically taught me a lot when it comes down to raising my son. Without them, I probably wouldn't be as strong as I am to actually say I'm a proud parent, you know what I mean?
How has your son changed you?
Well, my son, my little part 3, I call him. He changed me like in I would say a great drastic way, because he made me mature as a man. As a young man who graduated high school, going to college, it's not a lot of people who probably believe in me. Anytime I tell somebody I'm a father, they be like, "You a father? Oh, how old are you?" Wow, that's crazy. I'm like, okay, yeah. Don't say why that's crazy because I'm 18 and I'm a father. Say why that's crazy because you're actually doing something. You're not trying to be a statistic. You're doing what you can for your son and for your life. So I would say my son changed me in a great way, because now it's like I look forward to doing something with my life more. I always had a drive and ambition, but now it's just I got to do something more because I don't want to leave my son with nothing.
Hi, I tried to catch you before I finished my transaction. I don't know your name. My name is Eve Young, and I just came from like a 3-day event for fathers. And I caught you being a dad, and I want to give you this pen. It's called I Caught You Being a Dad.
Thank you.
Great, okay? And keep it up.
Okay, thank you.
We need more good fathers like you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I got caught being a dad. That's just awesome.
Filmmaker Daniel Kharlak tells the story of living life to its fullest with his very best friend. Here is Daniel's tribute to his grandfather, Poetry in the Dark.
My grandfather was born in the Ukrainian countryside in 1925. He left school and went to work in a factory when he was 13. He went to war at 18. Came home a decorated veteran and returned to work in a factory. My grandpa eventually became a history and literature professor and started a family. He built them a sturdy brick house. The house was eventually destroyed in an earthquake. The family was forced to move into government housing. Opportunities in the Soviet Union eventually began to dry up. My grandfather decided to bring his family to America. They arrived in New York in 1979 and slowly built themselves a life in the new country. My grandfather worked as a locksmith. was born in 1990. When I was 5, he taught me to ride a bike. In the summer, we would ride through Prospect Park. Afterwards, we would go into the library and read. Before I went to sleep, he'd often recite me poetry from memory. On the weekends, we would go to museums and other places in the city. We once went to the top of the World Trade Center and took off our shirts while we stood in the wind. My grandfather loved the ocean his entire life. He'd take me with him to swim and to fish. Eventually he became tired of living in a cramped home and moved out to an apartment in Sunset Park. He spent the last years of his life playing chess and drinking vodka with his friends. My grandma lights a candle on the windowsill on every anniversary of his death.
That's it for this week. Join us next time for more unfiltered voices of Brooklyn youth on Real Works. I'm Byron Hurt. See you next time.